Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Today's participants are Shanza, Afza, and Faiza. Our special guest of today's episode is Susan Timonson.
I'm your host, Manwar Khan. Today I'm joined by three young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of bullying. They all have the same goal: eliminating bullying in schools and communities. These young individuals have passionate about addressing the issue of bullying and also empower others. Today's participants are Sanja, Afza, and Faiza. Thank you guys for joining us today. Before I continue, I would like to introduce our special guest for today's podcast, Sue. Sue will shed some lights on bullying and give some tips and advice to our participants and the viewers. I would like to talk a little bit about Sue here. Sue is a wife to a teacher, a mom to two adult kids, and a nana to a 5-year-old grandson. She has been in media, marketing, and advertising most of her career, along with some advocacy work. For fun, she coaches and plays women's soccer, and she has been very involved in politics as volunteer for 25 years. You guys maybe don't know, Sue is running in the upcoming general election 2023 from Sherwood Park. Thank you, Sue, for joining us today. I know how busy you are. I know very well. I read the news all the time. So I know how busy you are. You should be door knocking and in your community, but instead you chose to put a pause on for these 40 minutes for these children and talk about this topic, bullying. So that means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So now that we have introduced our participants and guests, let's start it with the questions. So my first question goes for Shanza. Empathy is a powerful tool in addressing and preventing bullying. So my question for you is, how can empathy help in bullying situation? Can you give us an example?
Yes. Empathy is basically understanding someone else's feelings and sharing your own feelings with them as well. So I think it can help in a bullying situation because, it can make them victims feel lighthearted and make the bullies regret what they did. And for example, in another case, if the victims share their feelings with a friend, it can help them to stand up for themselves and it can, give them courage. Like, for example, if you, like, if the bully bullies the victim because of family issues, or they envy the victims thinking their life is perfect, they don't have any problems in their lives. So I think, in my opinion, the victims and the bullies should sit together and talk about the things they actually like. Why is the bully bullying the victim? So, like, they should talk about it and they should sort the matters together.
Excellent. Wonderful answer. I totally agree with you. And encouraging empathy, we can work towards creating a safer place where we can talk to the bully and also rejecting bullying behavior. So, excellent answer. Thank you so much. So, the
Welcome.
last question for you, Shanza, um, about compassion. What
Yes.
does it mean to you, and how can you encourage others to be more compassionate towards people who are being bullied?
Being compassionate really means feeling or showing concern about others. We can, encourage others to be more compassionate towards people who are, getting bullied and all. So, like, to teach others to, be compassionate about the victims, by teaching them kindness and showing kindness to them as well, and reaching out to someone actually, as the victims may feel isolated very quickly, and speak up for them. If we ever see someone getting bullied, we should always take a stand for them. We should never be a bystander.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And I hear the same thing. I agree with you. Fostering understanding and promoting the well-being of others is important because it helps to create more inclusive environment at school and then in the community. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Sandra.
Welcome.
So my next question comes for Abza, and it's regarding respect. So, promoting respect and empathy in school and communities is essential for preventing bullying. So, Afzat, can you tell me how can we promote respect and empathy at school?
So first, I think we should always respect everyone in general. But here are some things we can do to respect our teachers at school. So, for example, when the teacher is giving us some lessons, we should always pay our full attention to them and follow the school rules and regulations. And then we should also treat them with good manners, and we should try our best to go to class on time. And for classmates, we should keep quiet when our other classmates are speaking and help them when they're in need. Also, we should treat everyone the way we would like to be treated. And I think it can help prevent bullying because bullies often lack self respect, so they put others down to feel better about themselves. So, first, we should teach people to respect themselves because when we respect ourselves, it is easier for us to respect others. And as a kid, grounded in respect, won't bully others. So, in an environment where respect when there is respect, a lot of bullying problems disappear. So, this is why I think bullying plays a huge role in these cases. Respect plays a huge role in bullying cases.
Excellent. Great answer. And also, we also need to remember that promoting respect and empathy, it should be an ongoing process. It's a one day thing, right? So that which requires continuous effort and reinforcement for that. Thank you so much. So my next question for you is about respect too. Can you tell me how can you show respect towards your classmates, friends, and teachers? Maybe you did cover a little bit in your previous answer. And how do you think that that can stop bullying or prevent bullying somehow?
Okay. So people actually most of the times they don't know the other side of the story. So they go on to bully people. And I think when you yourself have self-respect, you would know that I myself would like to be treated this way. So why would I treat someone in a wrong way? So this is what I think how we should respect why we should respect people. And yes, I did cover a little bit in my previous question. So yeah.
And excellent, excellent. No, true. So showing respect towards classmates is not actually benefiting them. It's also creating an
Mm,
inclusive environment for all of us, right?
everyone, yes.
Excellent.
Everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So my next question goes for Faiza, and it's about kindness. So you guys understand that the questions that I'm asking, all these are somehow related to bullying. And if we need to address bullying, all these things comes. All right. So my question for Faiza is, why is it important to be a kind to others, And when someone is unkind to another person, how do you think that person that feel?
Kindness is one of the most important aspects in our lives. If we're kind to people, they will know that we care for them and we are willing to care for them from their love. If I were to put myself in the situation, probably that I start slowly because
Um, all right. So I think we are having a little bit technical difficulties here. I didn't hear your last portion that you just mentioned. Um, I'm gonna mute.
what I said was I someone should have been treated in a kind manner. I would probably that also start those online.
All right. Okay. We are still having some difficulties, Faisa. I don't know if it's gonna help to change the room, go to a different room. I don't know where the network is a little bit stronger because it's cutting. We are cutting off some of you're saying. I have one more question still for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect now. Now I would
Oh,
like to hear your first answer one more time, if you don't mind.
sure. So, what I said was kindness is one of the most important aspects in our lives. If we're kind to people, they will know that we care for them and we are here for them while they're going through rough stuff. There are certain acts of kindness that can make people feel more confident about themselves. And if we are kind to people, they can also be encouraged to be kind to others.
Right.
Now,
Excellent.
now if I find myself in a position, now
Hmm?
if I place myself in a position where I see someone being unkind to someone, I would probably feel very sad and also feel very upset. I would also begin to be very lonely and depressed and also start to wonder why people are treating me that way and why there's no one on my side.
Right. So I agree with you because every person react differently, right? But there are some people, if they see that they are being treated not well, and they can have a very negative impact. That can have a very negative impact on them, right? And sometimes it can go up to the depression level as well. But thank you, great answer, excellent. So, my next question for you is, what can you do if you see someone is mean to another person?
So if I found someone being mean to another person, I would be very direct and upfront and confront them about what they're doing, about how their behavior is unacceptable and how they should stop it. I would also like to advise the victims that it's not their fault and they should not waste their time thinking about the things the mean people are saying. Because again, it's their behavior that is at fault. It's not the victim's fault.
Yeah, I love your answers. It's that it's you telling the victim. It's kind of empowering them, telling them that this is not their fault. So it is somewhere that's a issue who is doing it. At the same time, I want to add one more thing here, Faiza. That is, you intervene, you just make sure that first that it is safe for you. If- Always, I mean, I never discourage intervening anybody, but you always have to first make sure that this is a safe position to intervene for you. Otherwise, you try to get help, mobilize people. You do not intervene when you're alone, or it could be a danger to you, right? So I agree with you. Great answer. Thank you so much. And I can hear you properly right now. All right.
Thank
Excellent. So, with the completion of our questioning, we will now move on to our final segment of this podcast. Now, I would like to invite our special guest, Sue, to share thoughts on bullying, what she had heard from our participants, and give some advice to our participants and all our viewers. Sue.
Thank you, Manwar. And thank you, ladies, for your really thoughtful replies. I'm listening thinking, I'm not sure I can tell you guys anything that you already haven't figured out. And that's a good thing. Um, because you're right. It's the things that you touched on, respect and compassion and kindness, and primarily kindness, because everything, if you approach everything with kindness, you'll find solutions from there. So you approach bullying, both the people that are being bullied and the bully, with kindness. Bullies won't understand kindness for a while because perhaps they haven't ever felt it. And so putting yourself in their shoes to understand that can sometimes help a little bit as well, because we don't know what they are going through, that causes them to lash out at people. And often it's their own pain that makes them lash out at somebody else. So it doesn't excuse them, and you need to call them out on it. And as Manwar said, in a safe place, in a safe way. Um, and you can't do it by yourself. You need to have people supporting you at the same time as well, right? This has to be a community that calls people out on those things. So I think those are really important things. But the kindness can apply to those who have been bullied. I love when you say we need to stand beside them, behind them, make sure that they feel supported, because you do feel, if you've ever been bullied, it's very scary. And you start to question a lot about yourself. Did I cause this? Did I bring this on? Is this my fault for being in the wrong place? All the answers to that are no, but that's sometimes when your internal dialogue is telling you those things, that's really hard to hear, that it's not your fault as well. So the way that you have all talked about being there in support with those people, with people that are being bullied, is exactly what you have to do. It's really hard to bully a whole group of people. It's much easier to bully one. So if people are standing with you, and sometimes it's people you don't know, sometimes it's people you don't like that are being bullied, and it doesn't matter. They're all still people, and they all still need your help. And I think that's the place, as long as you come from that position of kindness, all of the other stuff comes in, respect and compassion and understanding. Bullies tend to be very insecure people. They're doing this for a reason. And you take away their reasons for that, and maybe they'll see themselves for what they're doing, right? That's not your problem. You're, focus on the people that are being bullied, and everybody will be lifted up. I wrote myself some notes because your answers were so good. I was going to say sometimes the bully and the bulliers have the same problem. It's a bit of, sometimes if you're bullied, it's because you don't stand up for yourself. Sometimes a bully bullies because they haven't stood up for themselves in different parts of their lives, and they pass that on. So to break the cycle, if you provide support to the people who are being bullied, and you find ways to help bullies feel better about themselves without bullying other people, you can solve some of the problems as well. So kindness and compassion, I'll go back to that. Manwar, I don't know that I have more to offer unless any of you ladies have some questions for me.
I don't have any question, but thank you for your answer and response and your insights, Sue. I just want to add one more thing here, though. Um, you talked about that how scary this thing is, the bullying thing. So when it comes to bystander, people do not intervene because it is a scary thing. Okay, what is going to happen to me if I intervene? They will come back to me. right? So just think that way. If you are scared, how scared that person, the victim, is, because or he is the victim. We are just watching. So if you are scared, the level of scariness they have is way more than we have. So I think it is our responsibility, our moral responsibility. If we witness and if we feel we are in a safe position, we need to help. Excellent. Thank you so much, Sue. Yeah, go
I,
ahead.
well, to build on that, it's fear that stops us sometimes from intervening on those things. It's fear. But fear can get spread out through a number of people. The more people you involve in the intervention, the less your fear is, because now you've spread it out to everybody and it becomes manageable so that everybody can act together. So,
Exactly.
uh, stand shoulder to shoulder with people, stand behind somebody that steps up first. Those are those are all things that you can do actively that will make a difference.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. For my participants, any questions for Susan?
No, thank you.
All all right. So we have come to the end of the podcast. I would like to thank our participants, Shanza, Afza, and Faiza. I also want to thank today's special guest, Sue, for taking out time for her busy schedule to join this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that there are several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The government of Alberta has a bullying helpline which provides support and advice to those who experience bullying, and that helpline can be reached at 1-888 456 2323. Bullying is a violation of human rights. Under no circumstances, bullying is acceptable. Thank you for joining in conversation with Manwar Khan. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.